Rain poured over the empty streets of Naples. Shadows stretched across cobblestones. Sophia Moretti, 22, ran blindly, her heels clicking against whetstone. She barely had time to scream before strong arms dragged her into a waiting car. Voice, "You're coming with me," quietly. Hook. A night meant for freedom turned into a nightmare she couldn't escape. At least, not yet. In a dark, opulent villa on the outskirts of the city, Sophia was thrown into a lavish room with barred windows. Across the room, Vittorio Santoro, known as the Wolf of Naples, studied her. "Vittorio, you'll learn quickly. Obedience is easier than regret." Sophia's heart pounded. She was terrified, but intrigued. Hook, the most feared man in the underworld, had just taken her life into his hands, but something about him was compelling. The room was luxurious, almost a gilded cage. Silk sheets, a grand chandelier, Persian rugs. "Sophia, what do you want from me?" Vittorio didn't answer. He only walked closer, his boots silent on marble floors. Hook. In a world ruled by violence and contracts, the line between fear and fascination is dangerously thin. Vittorio laid out the rules. She eats when he permits. She speaks only when spoken to. She obeys. Sophia's pulse quickened. She realized she wasn't just a prisoner. She was a piece on his deadly chessboard. Hook. In the house of the wolf, one wrong step could mean death, and one right step could ignite obsession. Sophia lay awake, listening to the creaks of the mansion. Every shadow seemed alive, every footstep a threat. Outside her window, lightning illuminated the gardens where Vittorio's men patrolled like predators. Hook. Even the most opulent cage can't shield you from fear, especially when it hides a man who never sleeps. Vittorio watched her from afar, silent, calculating. Vittorio. Interesting. She's not like the others. She doesn't break easily. Sophia sensed his eyes but couldn't see him. Hook. Some prisoners are valuable, others dangerous. Sophia was both. Sophia refused to answer Vittorio one morning. "Vittorio, silence isn't wisdom. It's defiance." Sophia's defiance ignited something in him, irritation, curiosity, obsession. Hook. The most dangerous men in the world often become obsessed with the most fearless women. Vittorio allowed her a walk in the gardens. Sophia noticed roses trimmed to perfection, fountains glimmering under the stormy sky. Vittorio. Beauty is discipline. Chaos cannot survive here. She realized his control extended to everything, even the life of the woman in his cage. Hook. In a world built on fear, the beauty of obsession hides like a dagger under velvet. Vittorio told her stories, not as threats, but memories. The deaths, betrayals, assassinations that built his empire. Vittorio. I trusted too easily once. Never again. Sophia shivered. Fear and fascination tangled in her chest. Hook. The closer you get to a monster, the more you see the human they hide. If you survive long enough, one of Vittorio's men tried to intimidate Sophia. She stood her ground. Vittorio watched silently, a rare smile flickering. Hook. Courage in a cage is dangerous and irresistible. A rival gang attacked the villa. Gunshots echoed through the hallways. Sophia ducked under tables. Vittorio moved like a ghost, deadly, precise, protective. Hook. The wolf was at his peak, and she realized she had survived because he let her live. Sophia realized she could influence Vittorio. Just a little. Her defiance wasn't rebellion. It was survival, and perhaps even power. Hook. In the house of a Mafia king, even a prisoner can become dangerous. Vittorio offered her wine, a rare gesture. Vittorio, you fought through the night. That counts for something. Sophia felt seen, and it scared her. Hook. Even the most ruthless man can be disarmed by courage, beauty, and spirit. Sophia discovered a hidden room in the villa. Old letters, portraits of women Vittorio once loved, all lost, all gone. The past haunted him, and now the present demanded she navigate it. Vittorio taught her how to handle firearms, how to move silently, how to survive the empire. Every lesson was laced with danger, every mistake punished. In a house ruled by death, trust is learned, not given. Sophia lay awake in her gilded cage. The moonlight cut across the room like a knife. She thought about her family, the streets of Naples, and the man who had taken her life into his hands. Even in the darkest prisons, the mind can wander, and the heart can betray fear. Vittorio watched her from the balcony above, unseen. Vittorio. She's not like the others. She doesn't bend. She intrigues me. Every small act of defiance became a spark in his calculated, cold world. Some prisoners break. Some ignite obsession. A masked assassin slipped into the villa, aiming for Vittorio. Sophia, hidden in shadows, acted instinctively, throwing a vase that knocked the assassin off balance. Even a prisoner can tip the scales of life and death, and the most dangerous man alive notices every move. Vittorio finally confronted her in the library. Vittorio, you saved my life tonight. Tell me, are you reckless or just smart? Sophia met his gaze, trembling but defiant. Courage and defiance are dangerous in a world ruled by fear, and dangerously attractive. Vittorio adjusted the rules. She could speak. She could move freely within the villa. But one mistake, and the cage would close again. Freedom in a Mafia empire is a dangerous illusion, and Sophia learned quickly. Vittorio took her to the rose garden, the night scented with rain and flowers. Vittorio. Many women would cry here. You study it. Analyze it. Sophia realized he was studying her as much as she studied him. In the empire of fear, fascination is a double-edged sword. A rival gang infiltrated the villa again. Vittorio's men were cornered. Sophia acted without thinking, alerting the guards. Vittorio's eyes, cold and gray, softened just slightly. Loyalty isn't given. It's earned, sometimes with blood. The rival gang retreated. Vittorio's gaze lingered on her longer than necessary. Vittorio, you're still alive, and still defiant. That's rare. Sophia felt something stir in her, respect, perhaps even desire. In a house of killers, the lines between prisoner and partner blur dangerously. Vittorio opened up, stories of the men he eliminated, the betrayals he endured. Sophia listened, horrified, yet fascinated. Understanding the monster is the first step to surviving him, or falling for him. Vittorio and Sophia walked the gardens at midnight. Raindrops glistened on the roses. Their hands brushed. A touch in a world built on fear can be more dangerous than a gunshot. The villa came under fire. Sophia ducked instinctively. Vittorio fought like a shadow, lethal, precise, protective. She realized survival wasn't just about hiding. It was about learning to fight alongside the wolf. The attackers were forced to retreat. Sophia, shaken, realized the villa was a fortress, but one she was now part of. In the empire of the wolf, survival comes to those who adapt. Quickly, Vittorio trained her in stealth, survival, and gun handling. Mistakes were punished, successes rewarded. Slowly a bond formed. Even the most feared man can't hide the respect he feels for someone who refuses to break. Vittorio watched her sleep that night, silently. Vittorio, she's not afraid of me. She's learning to live with me. That's dangerous. In a world of obsession, danger is not always from enemies. Sometimes it comes from the heart. Sophia laughed at a small joke Vittorio made. It was the first real smile he had seen in years. A moment of humanity can ignite a fire even in the coldest heart. Vittorio confessed his fears, betrayal, loss, loneliness. Sophia realized the wolf had a heart, buried deep beneath layers of violence. Even monsters are human, if you survive long enough to see it. Salvatore Leone's men returned more organized, more ruthless. Vittorio's patience and Sophia's growing skills were tested like never before. When enemies know your weaknesses, survival is not optional, it's mandatory. Sophia shot her first man in self-defense. The shock left her trembling. Vittorio's eyes were not angry, they were proud. Even a prisoner can become a weapon when survival demands it. Plans were made, guards positioned, every hallway, every shadow accounted for. Vittorio and Sophia worked together, predator and student, master and equal. In a house of death, the bond between a survivor and the wolf could be stronger than any weapon. They watched the city from the terrace. Vittorio, you've changed things here? More than you know. Sophia realized she was no longer just a prisoner. She was part of his world, part of him. Even the most ruthless Mafia king can be undone by fascination, fear, and trust. Leone's men tried again. Sophia and Vittorio were ready. Gunfire, shadows, adrenaline. She moved like a shadow herself now. Experience and instinct can make a prisoner into the deadliest ally and a master's obsession. After the battle, Vittorio poured her a drink. Vittorio, you survived, and that matters more than anything else in this world. Even monsters find moments of softness, and sometimes love hides in fear. Sophia began seeing Vittorio not just as a captor, but as a man shaped by loss, fear, and power. In the empire of the wolf, understanding the monster is dangerous, but irresistible. Vittorio allowed Sophia to hold his weapon, showing her how to aim. Vittorio, you might be the only person I trust with this. Trust in a Mafia empire is a rare gift, and the start of obsession. Leone's men surrounded the villa. Alarms screamed through the night. Sophia moved beside Vittorio, ready to fight. The final test of survival is always close, and the most dangerous hearts are always watching. Gunfire erupted. Shadows danced. Sophia and Vittorio moved like one. The line between prisoner and partner is razor thin, and tonight it will be tested with blood. Leone's men were vanquished. The villa stood, scarred but victorious. Vittorio's gaze lingered on Sophia, more than admiration, more than respect. In the ashes of battle, obsession can take root, and hearts can be claimed. Sophia washed the blood from her hands. Vittorio watched silently, his presence commanding. Even in a world ruled by fear, there are moments where humanity emerges, dangerously. Vittorio admitted he couldn't stop thinking about her, her courage, her defiance. Vittorio, you were never just a prisoner. You've become my obsession. Obsession in a Mafia empire is dangerous, for both the master and the prisoner. The old rules were gone. She could speak, move, and think freely, but now her loyalty and life were entwined with his in ways neither could escape. Freedom can be more dangerous than captivity when hearts are involved. Vittorio placed a hand on hers, just a touch, electric. Sophia didn't pull away. Even the smallest gestures can ignite desire and obsession. A message from Leone arrived. The wolf's obsession will be his end. Vittorio smiled faintly. Vittorio, obsession can also be a weapon. In the underworld, love and obsession can be deadlier than any gun. The villa was quiet, but the air was electric. Sophia and Vittorio shared glances, moments of laughter, moments of silence. Even in danger, attraction and obsession grow, and no one is safe from it. Vittorio promised to protect her, no matter the cost. Sophia realized she had stopped thinking of herself as a prisoner. She was his in every dangerous, obsessive way. In the empire of the wolf, love is a contract, and obsession is inevitable. Sophia survived the cage, the bullets, and the blood, and in the shadow of the most dangerous man alive, she discovered courage, trust, and obsession. If you love this Mafia romance thriller, smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter, Sophia and Vittorio as Dangerous World. Comment below. Do you think Sophia can truly escape the wolf, or is she destined to be his obsession forever?